Ghana's largest opposition party, the New Patriotic Party, is at a crossroads after a series of bruising electoral defeats. Questions are being asked about the NPP's future direction, its ability to rebuild trust, and who is best positioned to lead the party back to power. With a crucial presidential primary set for January 2026, the stakes couldn't be higher. This afternoon, we will discuss the NPP's challenges, its internal dynamics, and the battle for the flag bearership that could define the party's comeback story. Now, joining me in the studio is a former member of parliament for Mampong in the Ashanti region. He is also twice contested the presidential race of the NPP, but lost out. Francis Addai-Nimoh is my guest. Mr. Addai-Nimoh, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
It's been a while.
Well, that is correct.
I hope you are doing good.
Fine, I am, and your good self.
Right, I'm going to be good as well. Before you talk about the NPP, I mean, before we went on that break, I was speaking to the West African Examination Council. They are unhappy with the level of malpractices that's characterized the ongoing West African Senior Secondary Certificate Examination. So far, they've arrested 16 individuals, and the 16 will include teachers, invigilators, school heads. And I mean, what do you make of this? These are future leaders we are training, and they've decided to cheat their way out.
Well, Elton, this issue, in my opinion, is surprising. It appears that every year it is an annual ritual.
Right.
For BEC, for WASI, every year we hear of exam malpractices. Why should it even occur in the first place? For this particular instance, let me condemn. I mean, those who are involved, whether they are teachers, the students themselves, if some are from WAEC offices themselves, who may be tempted to have leaked exam questions into the system. So whatever the chain is, we need to condemn that. We don't need to tolerate or entertain exam malpractices at any level.
Right.
That is why students are made to study hard. Once you study hard, why would you want to go for leaked exam questions and then before you can write your exam? See, nowadays, hardly will you find that. I mean, you have to study. When we were in secondary school those days, that electricity was even not regular. And we were using lanterns to study.
Right.
Yeah, people got committed to studying and made sure that we sat for our exams and to avoid, indulging in examination malpractices. So, I would challenge WAEC to ensure that subsequent years, this annual ritual, it doesn't happen from 2026 going. Ministry of Education also has a role to play. Teachers themselves also have a role to play, and the students. So the linkage should be that we should be able to close it. They know how the questions are set and how the questions are selected. In fact, for every subject, whether mathematics, English, or whatever, they have a pool of questions and they select. Those who select the questions and go for printing, and in that sequence, they have to make sure that, look, we don't have this situation reoccurring subsequently. Well, it's embarrassing, and if Ghana, in this current state, still entertains exam malpractices with our students, then it is unpleasant.
All right. Now, let's now move away and talk about politics. Let's do politics now. I mean, how do you describe the current state of the NPP?
Well, in your preamble, you stated that the party is at a crossroad. For the purpose of illustration, if you are at a crossroad, then every crossroad has 4 legs. So you come to the crossroad from one of the legs, and you have 3 legs ahead of you. And you have to choose which one to go. It's only one that will take you to your destination. But I will beg to differ in the description. Rather, I'll say my party, the New Patriotic Party, currently we are stuck in the mud.
Stuck in the mud?
Yes.
What kind of mud is this?
So, well, in the political mud, that is where we are now. And when you get stuck in the mud, you need a higher effort. You need that traction. You need a higher frictional force for you to be able to come out of that mud. I mean, if you are a driver, if you drive into a mud and you get stuck, sometimes you want to go out, your tires will only be rotating.
Right.
And you can't get out because you don't have the force of friction that should propel the vehicle to move. So right now, that is where, in my opinion.
But the question is, how did the party get into the mud?
Well, first of all, we have caused it ourselves. We as members of the party, from the leadership point of view in particular, we have caused it.
We suffered the leadership at the party level?
Yes, at the national level, at the national level, at the regional level, and then at the constituency level. But each of these levels will have a different role to play in causing this effect. And then whilst the party was also in government, in the immediate past NPP government led by Nana.
So that means the problem didn't start today?
No, I don't know.
What we are seeing today is...
No, it didn't start today, in my opinion. It started over 10 years ago.
Over 10 years ago?
Yes, that is my opinion about it.
And that will take us to 2015?
Yes.
And this will be the time that Afuko and Kwabena Japan had issues with the party, and they were suspended.
I will trace it back to that point of view, where the authority of the National Council, somehow, in its decision, we began to experience some abuse in decisions of the National Council. Because the circumstances that led to the removal of Mr. Paul Afuko, Mr. Kwabena Japan, Mr. Sami Krab.
Right.
The circumstances could have been averted. So once you go for the top echelon of your party, then that crack that is created, it didn't end there. It went into the regional situation level. Then it went to constituency level, where at the constituency level, even MPs will say that, look, I cannot work with this person. I cannot work with this constituency officer. I don't need this constituency officer. Then it trickled down all the way to polling station executives, which is the base of the party.
Right.
So if you have a crack in your building that goes into your foundation, then eventually you have to demolish that building because it is unstable. Its structural integrity is questionable. But if the crack is only at the top of it, then you can find a way to mend it, patch it, and restore the structural integrity of the building.
But the genesis of that cracks, I mean, led to that overwhelming victory the party had in 2016.
Well, you know, there are so many factors. By 2016, NDC had spent 8 years.
Right.
Professor Ms. John Mahama, 8 years. So there was also that natural call for change in government, which had been the historical trend for every 8 years. So that also, for me, that was the major factor. There was a natural call that, no, we needed to change. And the performance of the NDC, the second term of NDC in 2013 to 2014, some of the things that were happening, the perception of corruption, you know, dead goat syndrome by John Mahama, the doomsaw, and all that, also were issues that Ghanaians became so much dissatisfied. So when NPP also presented Nana Akufo-Addo and with a message of hope and transforming the economy and building a modern economy with sound infrastructure, of course, coupled with the natural phenomena, then Ghanaians were happy that NPP was coming back to really cause a major change.
So therefore, even though the party had initiated steps to demolish its own structures, that same structures helped the party to win the 2016 elections.
Yes.
And then suffered another defeat in 2024. Wouldn't you say that it's the same 8-year cycle where people become very hostile to existing structures?
Yes, that has been the trend, that every 8 years. But the defeat of the party in 2024 is unprecedented. Both parliamentary.
Just like what happened to NDC in 2016.
Both parliamentary and presidential. But what happened, you can't compare the NDC's defeat in 2016 to our defeat in 2024.
Maybe there'll be another bigger one coming up.
Ours is worse than the NDC own. NDC was able to secure over 100 parliamentary seats in 2016. They got 106.
106.
Okay.
And then move it to 137 in 2020.
And move it
and you dropped.
Yes, and we dropped from 169 to 137. So, and now, after the 8 years, here we are, we could not even get 90 parliamentary seats across the nation.
Currently 87.
Yes.
In certain
we are
regions, the
87.
party has no representation.
Yes, 4 regions, we don't have representation. 5 regions, we have a single representation in 5 regions. So it should tell you that the level of defeat for the party in 2024 is unprecedented. And that puts the party in this crisis. That we are in a crisis, we are stuck in the mud. It's a crisis situation. And we need to find that sufficient frictional force that can lift us from that situation.
So you say that the crisis, as we speak now, remain unresolved?
Well, yes, we have seen what has happened at Akwatia. I mean, if I take Akwatia by election.
Before then, there was Ablekuma.
Before then, Ablekuma.
Yeah, we ran in 19 polling centers.
Yes, and Ablekuma had been our stronghold since NPP went to Parliament in 1997.
Right.
We have kept that seat until 2024. And then Akwatia, we have also gone and we have lost Akwatia again. So it's all demoralizing to the rank and file of the party. And we need to admit that. If you don't admit, and you think that all is rosy, the foundation is still strong, and so you can build the superstructure on the foundation, then you will get it wrong, because when the time comes for accountability, we will see the effect of whatever actions and inactions we have taken at the various levels of the party.
So what did the party do wrong in the last 8 years that it was preoccupied to the extent that it didn't realize that there was issues that needed to be dealt with?
No, the party was in government for 8 years. And for me, one of the issues was the performance of the economy. For the 8 years, the performance of the economy. And talking about the performance of the economy, if you take the microeconomic indicators, you want to compare those indicators as at 2024 to 2026, when Ghanaians gave us the mandate.
Right.
Look, how would you justify exchange rate, which was hovering around 17 Ghana cedis to $1?
As against the 4 cedis we inherited.
Yeah, we inherited. How would you justify it? It's a simple thing. How would you justify it? So everybody knows you took it from this level. That is number one. How would you justify inflation that probably went to 54%, came down to 23 point something percent, as compared to how you inherited it? How would you justify it? How would you justify a domestic debt exchange program, the haircut? It has happened. So people have felt it. People are feeling it, and they have felt it, and they are feeling it. So how would you justify that you are better? You are doing the right things, but people are feeling it. The cost of living was high. How would you justify it? So the economy was
the main issue. But between
one of the issues.
But between 2017 and 2021, government performed so well in terms of managing the economy.
Yes.
And they will say that the reasons why things went out of hand probably could be traced to the global order at the time. We had to deal with a global pandemic in the name of COVID.
And then Ukraine.
Of course. I mean, I'm not re-echoing what government officials testified to be the reason why.
But you know, in 2020, but the Ghanaians gave a certain verdict to the party in 2020 elections. From our performance from 169 majority
137
to a hung parliament. That was a verdict that Ghanaians gave us to signal us that in the next 4 years, we needed to be more careful.
So basically, it was a warning. A warning you failed to heed.
It was. Look, let me give you one issue. Free SHS, yes. Implementation started from 2017, 2018 academic year.
Right. September 2017.
Yes. So for 3 years, we ran the free SHS. And if Ghanaians gave a verdict of a hung parliament, it should tell you that Ghanaians gave a judgment or verdict on the free SHS in 2020 elections.
That also main trump card in going into the 2020 elections.
So coming into 2024, we should have also recognized that message, a verdict had been given by Ghanaians in the 20. So we needed to look at a different sector of the economy, whether on infrastructure and whether on the cost of living and unemployment, to really address those issues and then we could tout those issues as our message to Ghanaians in the 2024 elections. But still, in 2024 elections, we were touting free SHS, forgetting that its verdict had already been delivered in the 2020. So the economy was one of the issues, okay? We said we will move from taxation to production. However, we introduced more taxes. G-levy is a classic example, and Ghanaians were unhappy, and yet we went ahead. We said the G-levy would bring in more revenue so that we would not be tempted to go back to IMF. But after E-levy, we went back to IMF bailout. Okay, so
because the E-levy couldn't bring in the revenue that government anticipated then.
Absolutely. Then the issue of also borrowing, where we told Ghanaians that where the money was available in the country, and we will harness that resources, that financial resource, to develop the country without going to borrow. We ended up borrowing so much. So I am saying that these are all issues which are there, which everybody knew they were the issues. So how would you justify?
And so what? You had, I mean, and you put this on the head of the leadership of government then?
Of course, because we were in government. We were in the government and the signals were there. Even at a point, some of our MPs in the last parliament
moved for the dismissal of
the removal
of
Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta as the finance minister. And the president didn't happen. It didn't happen. It took some time. Then later on, he did a reshuffle. And then before he brought in even as a senior presidential advisor on the economy, at the presidency.
The Ashanti region after the election put together a team to investigate why the party recorded low turnout in the Ashanti region. That committee was led by the former majority leader, Osei Mensah-Bonsu. The report they presented to the regional secretary points to, they use the word intransigent on the part of the president. They mentioned him. They even made reference to the Kwabri incident where on a radio interview, he says the demand for road, that they were not going to vote for him if the president it didn't frighten him. I mean, did you see that?
Well, yes. Apart from the economy that I talked about, the conduct of government appointees, including the president himself. So this instance is one or two of the instances they cited. And then, of course, the president attitude, then President Akufo-Addo's attitude towards some chiefs was also a major concern. But not only the personality of President Akufo-Addo at that time. The appointees also demonstrated the perceived arrogance and corruption, high-level perceived arrogance and corruption. You know, so you can take the president alone as a person and also look at the other appointees whose conduct was also questioned under arrogance and corruption. Even MMDCs at the district level, they were all getting involved in all this kind of arrogance and corruption. So it's not only the president, but the other appointees at the national level, sectorial level, or at the MMDC level, or even heads of state institutions, chief executives and managing directors, they were all involved in all kinds of things. The perception was for the whole government. But because President Akufo-Addo was a leader, and as president, the bat stopped with him. So he had a responsibility to ensure that the conduct of every appointee of his was good, it was pleasing to the Ghanaian people, and that in that way, we could go back to the Ghanaian people and ask for a renewal of the mandate. So the conduct of appointees was also another factor that, in my opinion, led to our defeat. And then how we even treated our own members in the party.
Members, like ordinary members of the party?
Yeah, members of the party. How we even treated those who had positions in government and how we treated those other members of the party.
How were they treated, Honorable?
I mean, if you talk to members across the country, I mean, that's why some members are aggrieved. They felt that they needed some favors, they needed some personal issues to be addressed, and nobody will attend to them, and and they were left.
But so will you say that perhaps in 2024, when the party presented Dr. Bawumia as a flag bearer, Dr. Bawumia inherited a broken party structures that was incapable of winning any election?
Yeah, because at that time, yes, the strength of the party was lacking. The strength of the party was weak at that time because we were in government, so everybody was looking up to what government was doing. But Elton, when a party is in government, it is a very thin line to really separate the two.
Right.
Because you find some members of the party who are occupying various government positions, and some are also occupying party positions. And we meet together, take decisions, and then we move forward with policies of government and policies of the party. And so if members are not happy, definitely they will voice it out. And some people, spent a lot of their time, their resources, everything to campaign for the party, went to the hinterlands, where I could not go, throughout the forest, they were there to campaign. And then at the end of it, nothing. Even somebody looking for a recruitment in a state agency, whether in the security agency or any of the state agency. And as a party person, there is a call on you to really
facilitating the
recruitment process. And there is a demand for maybe some financial demand on the poor person before that recruitment could be facilitated. It is demoralizing. Then the person feels that, upon all my efforts that I made, is that my compensation? Is that my reward? Not only party members, there were other people who also contributed in bringing the party to government. And at the end of the day, if there was no reward for them, how would they feel? They'll raise their hands up and say, look, for all my efforts, I got nothing.
But
but
8 months after power, has the party, I know that the party commissioned Professor Michael Quay to undertake studies as to the reason why the party lost the last election. The report has been presented. It is still a secret. But is the party doing more to change the narrative?
Well, as it is now, no, we are rather in a rush to go and elect the next flag bearer.
We'll come to that, but Paul Afoko, who is a former chair of the party, yesterday on Bolare's program, says that the NPP, this is his quote, and I just want to quote it directly, the state of the NPP is nothing to write home about. Leadership is missing. The party is without leadership. Kwame Pianim, economist, says that the NPP risks being reduced to the current state of the CPP if nothing is done about it. What is your response to these concerns raised by these individuals?
They are legitimate. These are legitimate concerns.
Which means the party is without leadership?
To a large extent, correct.
But there are leadership in place?
Fine, but in which direction? That is why we are stuck. So how do we get out of it? That is why, after the defeat, after Michael Quay's committee report, a constitutional review committee led by Frank Davis was put in place. And so they came out with the proposals for expansion of the electoral college.
Right.
You could see that most people were looking up to the issue of one man, one vote in the party in decision making.
So that everybody, any card-bearing member of the party would have voting
in good
right.
standing.
Would have voting rights.
Yes, should have a voting right. And that is what, if you talk to most people within the party at all levels, most people, that was their desire. Let's open it up, do mass registration at all the constituency level. Make sure that, let's say this is Ayawaso Central Constituency. If we can mobilize about 5,000 people who will register as card-bearing members of the party, and every month will be required to pay their dues. So they will be in good standing. So any decision they have to take about the leadership of in terms of the party, they will also participate.
Right.
They will be happy. That alone is the major step to do. But hey, we went for the constitutional conference, and the decision was that instead of the existing 5-member polling station executives, we are only going to add 2 people.
To make it 7.
To make it 7. Even if you compare it to the NDC, at the polling station, NDC, they call it branch. They have a 9-member polling station or branch executives.
Right.
So adding 2, we only have what? 7. And now the next level, we've created what we call electoral area committee, which is a 5-member electoral area executive committee. But with talking to people, that was not what most people were looking up to. They thought that we'll open it up, register people. If it will take even 3, 4, 5, or 6 months to have this exercise well implemented, cross-checked, verified, ensuring that, yes, for each constituency, the 276 constituencies, we have members of this magnitude in each constituency who are registered members and paying their dues. Everybody will be happy. So that then we build it.
Right.
But now that is not the situation. So you create a 7-member. Some describe it that you are even rather going to increase the cost of conducting your primaries, whether the presidential, parliamentary, or even constituency executive elections. So it is a major concern. Now we finished the conference. Even before the conference, the National Council had decided on the date for the conduct of
the presidential primaries.
And
it's one of the reasons why you decided that you won't contest.
Absolutely, yeah.
Let me bring that statement you issued a few days to, the picking of nominations forms. And this is what you put out. And you says, following broad consultation, advice from the team members, and careful reflections on the current circumstances of the party, I have decided not to contest the NPP presidential primary scheduled for January 31st, 2026. Now, this is the reasons. 1, inappropriate political timing. You says January 31st, 2026 for the conduct of the presidential primaries. The top-down approach to internal party contests, which has been severely criticized by many party stalwarts, including myself, as politically imprudent. The seeming inclination and bias of party executives towards one candidate. The unreasonable and unhealthy monetization of our internal politics, as evidenced in the astronomical amount of 4,600,000 being demanded from each aspirant. These factors, I believe, undermine the foundation of our internal democratic culture and place an ethical emphasis on money rather than competence and winnability. Nevertheless, I wish all aspirants well. Let's start from the very top. You said January 31st. Is it a case that it is too short to allow you to do comprehensive campaigning?
No.
The reason why you are out of it?
No, it's too early.
Why early? Your party is quite clear that when in opposition, the time frame within which to elect your flag bearer, and when in power. I think when you are in opposition, it's 2 years to election.
Not later than 24 months.
Not later than 24 months.
We are in opposition.
2026 will be 2 years away from the
So we have
election.
all the way up to December 2026.
Yeah, so they obviously will be closer to it or within.
So you only have to look at the reasonability of that decision. How reasonable is that decision? Vis-a-vis the point number 2, that you are doing a top-down approach in the internal.
They say that's what the party people want.
Who says so? No, I disagree.
That's the justification
I
they
disagree
provided.
with the National Council decision on that. I completely disagree. And there was a meeting that we expressed our views because, you see, it's a cycle. If you go a clockwise cycle and you start from 0 clockwise, after 360, you come back to the 0 point, the beginning. And then that cycle ends. So you must also start the new cycle.
Right.
In this particular case, we want to go anti-clockwise, the reverse direction. I have never seen it before, that you are going forward or clockwise and suddenly you reverse or anti-clockwise. If you are a vehicle that you are driving forward, you have enough sight distance.
Right.
Then you decide that in this particular instance or this particular time, I'll rather use my reverse gear to go, are you not putting yourself in danger? And that danger could result in your fatality or your collapse. And that is why I have said and criticized that decision that, one, it is too early to do so, and then in conjunction with the top-down approach,
it's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
Yes.
It is rather, Elton, it's rather a situation that may bring confusion, conflict, and then possible collapse.
Collapse of what?
Collapse of the party.
Of the party.
Yes, because if you are reversing, how do you see
your back?
Your back. Do you have enough side distance? Because your eyes
now in most vehicles,
your eyes can only see 180 degrees.
And I'm saying that now in most vehicles, there are cameras that help you see the back.
So you're going to use your external and internal mirrors to look at your back, as compared to having enough 180 side distance ahead of you. Which one do you?
And yet that is the trend now. That is how the party is pursuing this.
And that
your fear is that this will lead to the collapse of the party.
And that decision, for me, is unreasonable. And if there is any way that that decision could be reversed, in my opinion, it will inure to the benefit of this party.
But at the Congress, the overwhelming response was that this is how we should go.
Which one?
The one that was held at the Legon Sports Stadium.
You know what happened? At the conference at Legon, there were 56 amendments which were advertised, which were published. The transition provision, which was read by the chairman of the Constitutional Committee, was not even published, or it was not even advertised. It was only after taking through the 56, then they read that this is a transition. And then once you read and you call for those in favor say aye, those against say nay, you certainly will have the ayes have it. That will prevail the day. But you know, if you take a decision and it is not going well, that is why in policy cycle, there is evaluation and there is a review. After you have evaluated your decisions, you can review that, no, on this policy, let's go back and start it in a different angle. But if we pursue it, the consequences are there for all of us. After Akwetia, what is the situation now? It is still declining for the party. And then we want to build on it and go on for the flag bearership contest in January 2026. I mean, I would rather call on the National Council to take a second look at the situation now.
Is it not too late with just 4 months to have this done? Do you think the process can be reversed?
In my opinion, why not? Because it is the same National Council that took the decision. And that National Council is made up of all the 16 regional chairmen, and maybe all their 16 regional secretaries. The national officers, they are all there. The parliamentary caucus have a representation at the National Council. You know, let that body, that National Council body, which is supposed to be for policy decisions for the party, not be seen to be an arena to abuse processes for fairness, for transparency, to ensure that the party's internal democratic culture is sustained, is maintained.
And your third point actually casts doubt on what you consider to be a very important pillar, and that there should be fairness and transparency in the way the party leadership should go about this. And you said that there is bias of party executives towards one candidate. Who is this candidate?
Well, I've not mentioned anybody's name in my press release for the reasons that I gave.
But you have the name of that person at the back of your mind.
Well, you know what, and let me be frank. I don't need to, and it's not to attack any personality. There was a meeting in London, by the UK branch of the New Patriotic Party. And that meeting was attended by the General Secretary, Justin Kodia, National Organizer, Nana Boakye, and 2024 flag bearer or presidential candidate, Dr. Bawumia. I think either late May or early June. And at that meeting, 2024 flag bearer said the party should elect its flag bearer by January 2026 so that the flag bearer can have enough time
to campaign.
3 years to campaign. Immediately they returned from the London meeting. There was a National Council meeting that was held on 17th June 2025. And that is where the decision was made to conduct the presidential primaries on 31st January 2026.
And you think that the decision had already been taken by this small group of people to force it on the National Council?
Because this matter was in the public domain. And then National Council goes to take a decision. What is the impression?
But the National Council are made up of repute individuals.
They are.
You say that they don't have a mind of their own, that they were forced to take a decision that did not lead to the benefits of... I'm sure they were convinced by the arguments for...
Well, you have up to December 2026 to elect a flag bearer. So why would you also want to go for that early January election?
Maybe the justification...
Whilst you haven't done your base work well, whilst the rebuilding, the reorganization is supposed to follow the cycle that has closed now after 2024 elections, and then you want to circumvent the whole process and say that, look, let me go and start from the top. Then when I finish the top, then I can come down in that order. I mean, where do you find such a democratic culture being implemented? I have never seen it anywhere.
And you think this whole process has been schemed just to favor Dr. Bawumia? Absolutely.
We saw even the picking of nomination forms. Our constituency youth organizers were brought together to go and pick a nomination form for one person. Why?
But we've also seen members of parliament supporting some other aspirants.
Yes, I have seen it, but that is why I said there is a seeming inclination and bias of party executives. It's seeming inclination and bias.
But how many are they? How many of such individuals compared to the generality of those who are voting right to vote?
Those individuals have so much influence. If they are sitting members of parliament, they have so much influence. If they are constituency chairmen, they have so much influence. If they are regional chairmen, they have so much influence. If, let me put it in quote, if it is you try and Elton scratch my back and I also come and scratch your back, you'll be tempted to go in for that. You know, you'll be tempted to go in. So these individuals, you may see them to be individuals, but they control and have so much influence in the broader base where they will come up to take a decision and vote.
They say he's the most marketed, and he's had a better chance of wrestling power from the NPP than any other person who wants to lead the NPP.
John Mahama was elected as NPP flag bearer.
NDC.
Sorry, thanks for the correction. In 2012, John Mahama was elected as NDC presidential candidate in August 2012.
Right.
After the demise of
the late Mills.
And he became president in July 2012. He became the NDC presidential candidate in August. From August to December, how many months? Virtually 4 months.
Right.
But he was able to win the election. So,
but he had been vice president.
Oh, he had been vice president for how long?
He had been vice president. A known face of the NDC for so long.
No, he had been vice president for only 4 years. Then if you want to do that comparison, then Dr. Bawumia had also been running mate for 8 years. Within the 8 years, tell me, Elton, or to your cherished viewers, which constituency did he not even visit to campaign? So 8 years as running mate, 8 years as vice president. I mean, which remotest part has he not been to? Maybe there are some constituencies that he has visited maybe about 10 times, 5 times. That is no. So that argument that is the most marketable candidate, I think it will fail. That argument will fail.
Let me look at your 4th point. You also make points about the unreasonable and unhealthy monetization of the internal politics as evident in the astronomical amount of 4,600,000 being demanded from each aspirant. I don't remember the party announcing 4.6 million.
Well, you know, when the General Secretary issued the press release on July 29th, announcing the opening of nomination, on that press release, he said nomination form will cost 100,000 Ghana cedis.
Right.
Filing fee will cost 500,000 Ghana cedis.
That'll be 600,000 Ghana cedis.
Sure. And then a development fee shall be determined by National Council, which will be paid by every prospective aspirant.
Right.
So there's a 4 million development fee.
Yet to be announced.
Well, that one, ask the General Secretary.
But it's not made official yet.
Why he failed to announce it? Meanwhile, when you go to buy the form, it is included in the form for you to know that there's a 4 million to be paid.
Is this what was discussed prior to the announcement of the figures that some people had issues with? We're told that these were all part. It was a full package of almost 5 million Ghana cedis.
I am not a member of the National Council, so I never attended any National Council meeting that this decision had been made.
All right.
Okay. But if that decision was made by National Council, they should tell us when was that National Council decision made, where's the evidence of it. The only thing is that during the nomination period, if you went to purchase your nomination form, it will be included an amount of 4 million set as development fee.
And this will be paid by all the aspirants?
Sure.
They are aware of this?
Yes, they are. They are, and they are quiet. They are. You never know who has paid because it won't come out to you. It won't come into
So
the
this 4
public
million
domain.
cedis you are talking about is a condition for qualification?
Why not? Because it is the same National Council, okay? The same National Council that determined the nomination forms, that determined the filing fee. And if it says it has also determined another fee, termed development fee, to be paid by each aspirant, you've got to pay. If you don't pay, it can be used, or it will be used as a basis for your disqualification.
But when they filed their nomination forms and the check they presented, they didn't present 4.6 million. They presented 500,000.
Did you see it? Did they show it? Did you see? Did they show it? I didn't see anybody telling the committee, the elections committee, that they have filed their nomination. This is how much their bankers draft. This is the total amount of their bankers draft. They didn't say it. So unless you are curious to ask, I know that it was one of the conditions.
Yes, that needed to be met.
Yes.
4 million Ghana cedis.
4 million Ghana cedis.
Addition to the 600,000
yes,
and the 100,000 Ghana cedis.
Yes, addition to the 500,000 and the 100,000. That is why I put it in my statement that 4.6 million is being demanded from each aspirant. And you can find out.
We'll have to verify whether the aspirants paid additional 4 million Ghana cedis whilst filing their nominations.
Well, there are issues with it. If they don't pay, then what happens? Why not? Because it's a decision of the National Council. Would the National Council waive that? If the National Council waives that, it also has legal consequences.
But the news conference that presented the decision of NEC by the General Secretary did not mention the 4 million.
Did you read the statement that he issued?
Maybe not. But maybe not. But what I heard him speak to was 100,000 Ghana cedis to pick forms and 500,000 Ghana cedis as nomination.
Then fees. I'll urge you, the media landscape, to interrogate this matter further and ask the General Secretary if that money was not determined by the National Council and it's not a requirement for qualification. Okay, because there are consequences of whatever answer he will provide. There are consequences. If he says it is not part, there are consequences. If he says it is part, fine. Then all those who have filed, they've got to pay. And if you don't pay, there are consequences.
Then you stand disqualified.
Sure. And if it is waived, there are also consequences because then it can be challenged. The whole process can be challenged.
And what are you developing with 4 million Ghana cedis?
Well, that one, I don't know, unless we ask the General Secretary who implements decisions of the National Council. So he will know what goes into the development fee, the ingredients of the development fee, and what the party is going to do with it. I wouldn't know. But that is the first time, Elton, and for your viewers, that's the first time such a matter has come up in NPP presidential primaries. Look, 2010, 2014, the party was in opposition. 2010, 2014, the party was in opposition. The party never introduced anything like development fee. All we knew at that time was the cost of the nomination form and then the filing fee. 2014, when I contested for the first time, the cost of the nomination form was 10,000 Ghana cedis. Right. 2014. And then the filing fee was 75,000 Ghana cedis. The two put together was 85,000.
Yes.
Then 2023, when the party was in government, the cost of the nomination form was 50,000 Ghana cedis. And then the filing fee was 300,000.
There was no mention of development fee.
There was nothing like development fee. And so this is the first time that such an item has been introduced. A precedent is being set. So that is why I said, when you get hold of the release from the General Secretary on 29th July 2025, announcing the opening of nomination period,
right,
and you read the content of that statement, you will notice that there is an item called development fee, which shall be determined by the National Council to be paid by each aspirant.
And you say that is 4 million Ghana cedis?
Absolutely.
Wow. We'll look at this carefully and then get some answers from the party leadership. But now that you are...
But even since last week when I put up mine,
nobody has...
It has not been challenged.
Right. But now that you are out of the race, are you supporting any of the aspirants?
No, not at all.
Why?
I've pulled out from the race based on principle.
But you were supporters, and you encourage them which direction they should
for
vote.
The team, as Team Addai-Nimoh or Team Fan, the decision is that...
Who do you think should win to lead the NPP?
I don't know. I don't know. On this platform, I don't know who will win.
Should it be Kennedy Japon?
Elton, I say I don't know.
Brandon Champon?
I don't know.
Or the most marketed Dr. Baumia?
I don't know. Because I have withdrawn or I pulled out on principle. And the principle is based on these reasons. The inappropriate political timing, which is too early to elect flag bearer, who will be there for almost 3 years before we go for the next general election. The top-down approach, which I have criticized that, no, it will not inure to the growth of the party. Then the bias, question of bias, then unreasonable and unhealthy monetization in the whole process. So with these principles that I have put forward, and then I make a U-turn to support any of them, then how would the Ghanaians see me? How will I be seen in the sight of Ghanaians? I don't know what I'm doing. Then I'm an unprincipled person. Then because somebody may even say because I'm scared that I will lose.
Right.
Then that's
why you pulled out.
No. But these things, if these things are corrected, if the points I've raised are corrected, and then we'll have to start things afresh, then you can count on Addai-Nimoh as one of them.
In view of the concerns you've raised, does the NPP stand any chance in 2028?
Well, as it is now, 2028 is not an easy task for NPP.
But Samantha?
Sure, but it's not an easy task.
So what must be done to turn things around for the NPP?
Well, we have a parliamentary deficit, okay? 87 as against 185 by NDC with 4 independents. We need to examine how are we going to move, let's say, 40 or 50 parliamentary seats from the NDC and bring it to NPP whilst we maintain our 87. That is a Herculean task for us to do. Then the presidential side also. Okay? We have, if you look at the results of the 2024,
right,
and you look at the green and blue belt nationwide, you see where NPP we are, means we've got a lot of work to do across the country to really shore our votes up in the next election. So it's a big task. And to overcome it, that is why we need to get to the base. You want to rebuild. Elton, we know every effort you need for a rebuilding process is always more than the initial effort you used in building.
Yeah.
So where we are now, we need a greater effort in the rebuilding because you have to demolish certain things and even to take the debris away is another task. And then reconstruct is another. That is where we are now. And that is why I said we are stuck in the mud and we need a greater frictional force to really lift the NPP vehicle from where it is now. To do so, it is the internal membership of the party that is the strength of the party. How can we calm down members of the party at all levels in the various constituencies? How can we give a renewed hope to our members that all is not lost?
Right.
That let's come together, and look at a brighter future. And then we may have to, in this crisis, call for certain decisions. And I will recommend, at the national level, for instance, the acting national chairman, Mr. Bute, has indicated that he is not going to seek re-election.
Right.
Because of the performance of the party.
Right.
And I commend him for that.
The national organizer has also said so.
Yeah, so I expect that the entire national executives
must be removed.
Yes. Yes. Because in crisis, you must take certain decisions which may not be normal. Let's go to the regional level. Okay? At the regional level, if you are in a regional chairman or a regional secretary or a regional executive member in Upper West, Upper East, OT, Volta, where we secure 0 parliamentary seats, and you still want to renew your mandate as a regional chairman, or you want to go for a different position at the regional level, I believe that we need a complete overhaul at the regional level. Let's take Greater Accra also for another example.
You're wrapping up, so if you can.
Yes. Greater Accra, out of 34 seats, NPP has only 5, and NDC 29. So if you're a regional chairman here or a regional officer, what is your motivation that you should seek re-election either in the same position or in a different position? So that overhaul, we need it at the national level, then at the regional level. For the constituency, we can leave it to them, and at the constituency level, they will know how to play their own games. And I believe at the end of the constituency executive elections, maybe those who may be retained, existing executives who may be retained, may not even be more than 30%.
Okay.
Well, so this kind of overhaul is needed to bring freshness, new energy into the party. As I said, if you stayed on as a regional chairman in your region, you couldn't bring a...
Then you have no business.
What business? What are you going to bring in the 2028?
All right, folks. I guess we'll have to find another time to continue this conversation, but we'll have to leave it here for now. Before we go, let me say thank you very much, Mr. Francis Addai-Nimoh, for coming through, and hopefully we'll continue this conversation another time.
Thank you. As I said, rebuilding requires extra effort as compared to the initial effort that you used to put up the structure. So for NPP members, all is not lost. We have a task ahead of us. I know how people are feeling at the base. And so we must give a renewed hope to our people. Even from Equatia, what happened, we know the effect on our members.
On the party. All right. So, Mr. Francis Addai-Nimoh, thank you so much for coming through. Before we...